I feel that audience building and building an audience, just whatever phrase you want to put on that, has been super detrimental and dangerous for a lot of creatives. So, as I'm talking about this, I really want to get your opinion back. First of all, have you heard or been impacted by this build an audience mantra? Have you heard it? Have you started a creative business? Have you started a side hustle? Have you built up, getting into your creative life? And then as soon as you did, you've heard a guru or somebody else say, before you can become an artist, you got to build your audience. Before you launch a podcast, or launch a podcast so you can build your audience. Launch a YouTube channel, but as you launch your YouTube channel, you got to build your audience. If those three words have popped into your feed, if you've seen them on Facebook, if you've seen a ad that is telling you, hey, I can help you build your audience. If those three words have been slapped upside your head, please comment and tell me if that's the case. Because it is the case for me. I've been doing this now since 2016 as a podcaster. As a blogger, we really started getting serious about it around 2015, 2014. And so I've been in content creation before content creation was really even like a word that was in the vocabulary. So I have been working as this artist slash entrepreneur, and throughout the time that I have been doing it, I've been hearing forever that if you want to be successful, you have to build this audience, and somehow this audience would eventually turn into a sustainable business, a sustainable artist career. Okay, Anita says absolutely. Great. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't alone in that. Because as you can hear me say it, you can kind of catch where I'm going with this. Did I try to build an audience? 100% yes. I was working so hard on whether it was building your social media audience, building your email audience, all the things, getting Facebook ads. It's all about the networking, and can I build an audience there? Do I show up here and then I can get more people to show up here, online, offline? And as you can tell, my frustration was everything was about the audience. Everything was about this nameless, not individual names, right? There were no individual names to the audience. It was just the audience. It was these people that were supposed to be paying attention to me. I was supposed to be gaining attention. And then as long as they were paying attention, again, eventually it would turn into sales. It would turn into people coming to my concerts. It would be people reading my writing. And that would become like the catalyst to my success as a creative. Here's why I believe, oftentimes, if that's you as well, please again, let me know if you felt the frustration of then trying to build this audience and not seeing any results, both in not seeing people joining your audience, but then two, not seeing the results of actual either money, income. If you get a big audience on Twitter or Facebook and then they all don't like your post and your posts just kind of go without being seen. I'm going through this right now with one of the podcasts that I help to run. We have 12,000 followers. 12,000. You know how many see our posts on social? We maybe at the most got 360, 700, 400 out of 12,000. Again, I know how algorithms work. Thank you, Anita. Anita says, oh my goodness, yes. Yeah, right? Because I'm sitting here running multiple creative platforms, multiple podcasts, and I see it over and over where it's like this uphill climb and everyone is battling to get the attention. It's been called the attention economy. You've probably heard this. The attention economy is all about the more people that pay attention, the more that I actually can like sell, buy, I can promote myself. So everyone's out to become these $1 million influencers, these TikTok fans, stars, I should say, TikTok stars with tons of fans. And again, I've seen it over and over again where people who have large audiences then ask people to either buy something, or they say something like, oh, I'm going to change my thing. I'm not going to do funny videos anymore. I'm going to change up. And the audience vanishes, or the audience isn't interested. Because here are the three things that I believe are wrong with audiences. And I didn't make any notes, by the way. Please help me take notes, somebody, because I did not do this as a bullet points. This is just something I'm passionate about, so I'm just going to share it out loud, and then hopefully maybe it will become something that I can create like a PDF or something like that to help out with. So what I really believe is the first thing that audiences do or creates in your mind that kills your creative business, it creates a one size fits all. When you're trying to build an audience, unfortunately, and I know as soon as I say this, this is going to be controversial. Some people are going to say, well, you need to know what your avatar is. You need to know who your audience is. And your audience is people from 20 to 40 who work out and who listen to new age music, right? Or who listen to faith-focused devotionals or whatever. Whatever that like audience member is, the problem is, like I said, it really becomes you trying to please this mass of people that fit in a box. And they do not become constantly connected with you in terms of connection and community. They become this mass of people that you need to please, this mass of people that you need to keep the funnel going and to keep things running in like almost like a machine or an operation. There's a reason why it's called an industry, right? An industry creates products. So audience building puts you in a mindset of, I just need to build this thing, not connect with people, build a thing. And then once I build this thing, an audience, this thing will spit out money. It will spit out followers. It will spit out fans. It will spit out things. If that is the case, what is happening to our creative mindset? It's becoming product based. It's becoming about creating products and things. And there's nothing wrong with creating products. The problem is when you are thinking in a product mindset and you're not thinking in terms of people. So audience building eliminates the person and it creates a people, a product first, people second mentality. That's the first reason it could be killing your business. The second reason is because of the frustration and the burnout that happens when creatives follow this kind of build an audience. I've seen so many of my friends give up on their creative dreams because they couldn't build an audience. So they think because I never built this big, massive audience, my product, my service, my creative drive, it must not be worth it because I'm not getting the numbers. And so because I'm not getting the numbers, this means that what I'm doing must be wrong. And is there a place for you to like take some kind of feedback? Of course you should listen and see, oh, well, people don't necessarily like this or they don't like that. And I should try more of this and experiment 100%. I am not saying that you should not pay attention to what people like or that you should ignore the signs. But what I do think is that most of us give up prematurely because we have not seen the signs. We give up prematurely because we assume the audience has to come or else it's proof that our creative gifting and calling isn't worth it. And this is why I think it could be killing your creative business. Because if you're thinking that way, what's really happening is you're basing everything that you are doing and your decisions on an external metric, which you don't really have control over. You really don't have control over who shows up. You really don't have control over who sees your post. You really don't have control over these things. And so if you are doing all the things that you're doing to build an audience, and then you say, well, I didn't build an audience, I guess it's time to stop dancing, time to stop making movies, time to stop playing music, time to stop doing my drawings, because no audience is not a reason for you to stop your art. Is there reasons to pivot, do better marketing? Sure. I'm not saying not to pay attention, but I think we give way too much weight to building an audience. And this is what causes us to give up on our creative dreams, which causes us to burn out, which causes us to give up. And that is never a good thing for creatives. Pivot, yes, that's fine. Burnout, quit because you couldn't build an audience. That's not what I believe should be happening. And of course, it would kill your creative business if you give up. And then the third thing audience building, I think, really does that's a negative is if you really think about it, audience is passive. Let me explain it like this. The very word audio, audience, right? To hear. There's nothing in the word build an audience which talks about the audience talking back to you. If this is making sense, I would love to see you in the comments because this just kind of helps me realize that, okay, am I on the right path? This is making sense because we said our first point. Who remembers the first point? Because I need to remember this so I go back and look at it. The first point was that audience building creates you in a product mindset, right? And the second point was that when you're building an audience that you oftentimes give up because you don't see it, so people give up prematurely. And now I'm on the third point. So anybody's tracking with me, help me write these down because I need to remember these, okay? 3 is, as I said, audiences are passive. You simply wait, you speak, they listen. But audience or building an audience implies no response. The problem with building an audience is that you don't think about what the audience says back to you. An audience is passive. They sit, they listen, maybe they clap, maybe they cheer. And I've been playing music for a long time, so I know an audience. I mean, even right now as I'm speaking, I can see the numbers going up and down on how many people are watching, right? So my initial thought is, well, is there an audience? Am I speaking to anyone? But as you heard me in the comments say, what's really important to me is that you speak back, that you comment back, that I see replies back. That matters more than how many people heard my voice in the first place. And thank you so much, Anita. Anita says she's taking notes, and this is a perfect example. My audience is not important if my audience is not speaking back and connecting with me. So that's why audience building throws you off, because if you focus more on what you're saying and how many people heard it, instead of what they are saying back to you or their capacity to say things back to you and to speak to you, audience building becomes again, one size fits all. I just talk, you listen, I put out content, you consume content, but nothing. I mean, I want to be wrong. So I'm going to go out on a limb here. If someone can show me the guru that shows me how building an audience connects with hearing back from that audience, I will gladly take this point back. But I don't think you're going to find anyone. I don't think you're going to find anyone that preaches building an audience and in the same voice says, make sure you're listening to your audience. I've never heard anyone say, listen to your audience. This is my point. If you've heard it, and if I'm wrong, please call me out. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that somebody out here is saying, listen to your audience. I have never heard those 4 words put together. So why I am pushing so hard that audience building kills your creative business is because it turns that part of your brain off. As a creative, as a marketer, as an entrepreneur, you cannot be simply concerned with what you put out. You have to be more concerned of what's coming back. And what's coming back is coming from people, coming from individuals. Now, are they part of an audience? Perhaps. But this is a secondary effect. The audience building should not be your primary goal. And I already hear people complaining, and you know what? You can at me, you can email me, you can tell me I'm wrong. Fine. I'm going to stand on this. I'm going to die on this hill. Anita says, I'll talk your ear off if you let me. Yeah, see, I want that. We have an amazing community in 360 where I have to tell my members all the time. One specific one, I'll tell her right now. She's like, I feel like I'm talking too much. I feel like I'm posting too much. I feel like, I'm the only one speaking. And I'm like, and this is a bad thing that you get a place to share freely and you don't have to like worry about the algorithm shutting you down. And if you have an idea, you share it. Like, when did that happen? Like, when did we get to the place where we feel like I know oversharing is a different phrase, but when community feedback is not welcomed, like, what is that case? Yeah, thank you, Anita. I appreciate that. This is what I'm talking about. So I'm probably beating a dead horse at this point. So I want to keep moving, but this is why I believe audience building is killing your creative business. No, let me quickly pivot before we keep moving on to the solution, because I don't want to give all the problems and not give a solution. So we said that audience building creates a product mindset, a one-size-fits-all mindset. It kills your creativity in terms of burnout. You tend to burn out. You give up early because you didn't build an audience, so now you give up early. And we said that there's nothing interactive about an audience. It's oftentimes simply about how many people, and then you never think about, or am I listening back? What are they saying? What is their interest? So what's the antidote for audience building? Because obviously we still need to have people that listen and buy our products and go to our concerts and all that stuff, right? So the difference is build community, not build audience. And again, this is one of those things I'm just going to die on the hill, because some people will say, well, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. Building an audience is passive. Building a community is active. Passive is, I wait for people to show up. I do all these things and they show up and they show up and they show up. And yes, you build a massive audience. Great. But nothing in that had anything to do with them talking back to you. Nothing in that had you kind of realizing that you were talking to individual people. And it certainly didn't involve, here's the key, follow me here, this is super important. It doesn't involve the community, the audience, if you will, talking to each other. This is what I believe 99.9% of gurus and whatever you want to call them, right? The super Twitter people and the Instagram influencers, this is what they miss. They think the job is to build an audience that talks to them. Again, kind of passive, right? Or they talk to. What community builders like me believe in is building communities where people talk to each other and not just to me. I love when I do not have anything to do with the conversations that happen inside our Facebook group. I love that inside one of our groups, inside one of the other podcasts that I help to run. I love the fact that I can like stop talking and they'll keep going on the comments for like 6 or 7 pages. This is what I'm talking about. You want to build a community where the people care more about each other and your cause and your art and your craft than they care necessarily, or should be equal. I don't say they don't care about you, but you are equal in line with everybody else. Like, you're not the person that's the center of attention. And Gina Bianchini of Mighty Networks, the network that we're a part of, that we run God and Gigs 360 on, this has been a major reason why I am a huge fan of Gina Bianchini. Because she's doing this in her podcast. She's talking about people magic, and people magic to her is community. And so when we built God and Gigs 360, that's why I stayed on the platform. To be honest with you, it is not an inexpensive platform. It is an expensive platform. I shouldn't say expensive. It is fair market value with all the other platforms. It is definitely not a free platform. Okay, I don't run it on a free platform. I think there might be a free version. I use a paid version so when you join God and Gigs 360, you're joining one of the tiered platforms where we have all the features. I pay for the features that we provide for God and Gigs 360. Why is that? Because those features are designed to help each member, each creative, find and talk to each other. On the Facebook group, I want people talking to each other. So they then build the community, each other connecting continues to build the community, which eventually, yes, could turn into an audience perhaps. But that's not the goal. The goal is community. Because once I have a community, they can rally. If we got shut down and kicked off of Facebook, the community survives. The audience would disappear. Is this making sense? Good to see you, Simony. I know you're going to believe in this. Simony is a member of our 360 community. She is one of the reasons why we have such a lively community, because she comments and shares and posts and helps people get acclimated to 360 when they join our membership app. And yeah, Simony, if you can chime in on this whole audience building versus community. We've had so many discussions about this. Social media makes you feel like you're a loser if you don't have you only have 5. I did this experiment on Facebook. As a matter of fact, I might pull this up. Let me see if I can do share screen. I got to get to Facebook first, and which I barely go to now on my phone. I literally took it off my phone. Let me see here. Where am I going to? I'm going to go to groups. I'm going to go here, and I just want you guys to see how many people are actually seeing these posts. All right. Now we go to share screen. I'm going to pull the other thing down. And here we go. All right. So you got to look right at our Facebook page, right? This is the back end of the Facebook page. This is what I get to see. Okay. So there's the post. I said, let's do an experiment. Comment with the date and time that you see this post. Okay. Now, I basically wanted to see if people would see it, right? I wanted to see if people were actually going to be able to interact with it. And then that picture you see is a picture of, let me make it bigger so you can see the whole screen. I want you guys to see it. Let's see. Let's make it like this there so I can see the whole thing. Okay. So there's the post, right? Now, I don't know if you guys get to see how many views this thing gets, but you see we have 497 members of this community, right? This is a community. This is where I want people to talk and I want people to share. And here is where you can see how many people have seen that post. Post engagement, 14. And people reached 38. Okay? Now, why am I showing you that? I'm showing you that not because I don't believe that the Facebook group is a good community. I believe it's great. I am telling you that the power in it is not in the views. It's not in how many people, because as you can see, the audience is almost 500. But Facebook decided only 38 people were going to get to see it. So what's more important? Is it me saying, oh my gosh, I need to get more people inside the Facebook group? Or is it me encouraging comments and questions inside where people actually talked? And that's exactly what we did. I went in and we went back and we said, hey, thank you for commenting and so on. And, so we replied to Pamela, you were there, and see how we were able to kind of share there. And then Anita, you were there, right? And so Simony, I got the chance to see you. So this is what I'm talking about. This is more important than seeing how many people saw it. Okay. So this is why I'm making this point. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense, that what I really want is that I want the interaction. And then if the audience comes, that's great. But I'm not in charge of how many people saw that post on Facebook. That's, unfortunately, Facebook does that. Unless you buy ads, which some people do not want to do, you're not going to get huge audience reach. And the only reason that you get community is when you connect with the people who are actually watching and following. And as you can probably tell, Anita, Simony, Pamela, they're on this call as well. So Facebook said, oh, I guess they want to watch this. They want to see it. And so they made sure they saw it first. And they commented. That's community. My friend, thank you for watching this episode. If that blessed you, you got to make sure that you stay connected with this community and this channel so that you can get more where that came from. We're sharing great interviews, tactics, strategies, mindsets, lifestyle choices, everything that's going to help you become a totally confident creative. And don't miss an episode of The God and Gig Show. If you are staying connected to our channel, you'll be able to find us anytime we release new episodes. And you can check out some of our archives of almost 200 episodes now that we've shared over the last few years. Make sure you check out one of the suggestions right now because it's probably perfect for you to continue to develop as a creative. And continue to stay connected with us because we're here to help you become the creative that God created you to be. We'll see you in the next episode.